South Korea's mega entertainment agency that boasts BTS HYBE has become the largest shareholder of traditional heavyweights SM Entertainment. Now, it may be too early to talk yet, but what could a possible integration of the two firms mean for our K-pop stars and K-pop industry going forward? For more, we're joined by Mr. Jeff Benjamin, a K-pop columnist from Billboard. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. First off, why do you think HYBE becoming the biggest shareholder of SM is such a big deal? I mean, why so much interest and concern over the two firms potentially being under one roof?
Yeah, this has been a big financial story, of course. You look at these two very large companies, very influential companies in their own right. There's a lot of money and there's a lot of power involved in here. But there's also kind of a fun rivalry that's been happening between the companies for quite a while. SM Entertainment is a long historied K-pop label that has had a lot of attempts and a lot of tries to really make it overseas. They've done very well in Japan. They have done not as well in America, but HYBE is a company that hasn't even been around as some of the artists under SM have been out in the world. And they're kind of seen as the newcomer and someone who really did crack the United States with BTS in particular. So, there's been this really interesting rivalry between these two companies in particular. Sometimes they're artists as well by the fans. And, it's kind of interesting to see what happens when the newcomer kind of comes in and seems to have a really big potential huge stakehold in this historic company that's sort of been seen as a rival and someone who never really was considered a true competitor to this company in that well. So it's fun and dramatic in that way.
Right. Not only a different group of fans across the world, but also different charms that the two firms have. Very distinguishable. And how will the integration of SM and HYBE transform the K-pop industry then? I mean, we're talking about the direction and the style of K-pop. Will it be for the better, or what hurdles will need to be overcome? What do you think?
There's so many ways that this can go, and I think a lot of people are rightfully worried about, the potential monopoly that could happen when you put together someone like HYBE and someone like SM, two very strong companies on their own. If you do put them together, what real chances are there for other companies? I'm a big believer in fair competition and making sure that everyone gets their chance. But at the same time too, HYBE has been sort of in this mode of acquiring and working with different labels and working with different artists under these labels. For example, they acquired Pledis Entertainment, home to big international power 17, Cause Entertainment, home to Zico, super producer and rapper. And for the most part, we've gotten the sense that they've been able to keep their artistic integrity, keep how these labels all work. So in one sense, even though they might all be under this family company, maybe there's a sense that SM will still be able to retain their company colors, the things that always represent them as well. And so, there's definitely going to be some struggles and maybe some growing pains if this does end up happening. But at the same time, too, HYBE has really done a great job at making sure all of its labels do work independently and kind of making sure that everyone gets their own space and just uses their resources to their best ability.
Right, especially HYBE. They have so unique colors that differentiate them from other K-pop stars within the firm as well. Now, finally, what does it mean for our K-pop stars then? I mean, does it mean a new opportunity for K-pop stars of SM and HYBE? I mean, if it is, in what way do you think that will be an opportunity?
It's interesting to say, and there's been some sort of, the artists themselves haven't really spoken too much about this. There's been some hints that maybe on the SM side that certain artists are not so thrilled about this potential news. But I think, in the end, these artists have proven despite whatever rivalries there may be on the business side or between their companies or managements, they are friends. They all work in the same industry. There's kind of that understanding of how each other works. And, I think there's respect amongst all the artists, no matter what side of the coin you lay on. And so I think, eventually once sort of those, business side of things kind of fall off aren't so dramatic, there could be some really cool ways for the artists to come together and collaborate in that way too. I think, the biggest thing, a lot of people are worried that maybe their favorite artist or their favorite group might be affected by some type of merger or some type of acquisition. I think the biggest thing that artists and fans want to see is just everyone's still getting their chance to be on stage, still being able to make music, do what they feel they love to do and what they're meant to do. And I think that's sort of what becomes the biggest sort of issue in all of this is that, is everyone still going to be able to continue as they've always been able to continue? That includes the employees, the managers, the people at the company, and of course the artists as well.
Right. There's always a way to coexist, right?
I hope so. So, well, we're hoping for the best. But yeah, it's a very exciting story.
I believe in the two big firms as well.
Yes. Me
All
too.
right. Thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you.